Padres, friends of Unlimited, friends of family, friends of life, wrestling fans, happy fans, all sorts of people. You've stumbled onto this video because you're curious, because you, watching at home through your computer, perhaps through your mobile device, you might be saying to yourself, well, I like wrestling. I like large gatherings of people. I like alliteration. There must be an event out there for me. And there is. And it's generally the Royal Rumble. But friends, let me tell you, just because you love alliteration, just because you like large gatherings of people, and just because you like wrestling, does not mean that you have to watch Royal Rumble 2012. In fact, it means that you shouldn't. Because if you watch Royal Rumble 2012, you're going to be taking a risk. And it's not a calculated risk, it's a dangerous risk. A risk that you might start to hate alliteration. A risk that you might start to hate large gatherings of people. And a risk that you might start to hate wrestling. Okay, it's not that bad of a pay-per-view, but looking back in hindsight, it's actually pretty sad. And it's pretty sad because this was in 2012, January 2012, fresh off the summer of Punk, July, oh man, July of 2011. It was so amazing, wrestling was hot, and then, Triple H and his grubby little, ooh, I need to be at the top of everything, sort of ruined the whole summer of Punk, and it put it on a collision course. And sure enough, Triple H's influence of awfulness was very much felt at the Royal Rumble 2012, but we'll get to that in just a short little period of time. But let's actually get to the event, because we're not just talking about the actual Royal Rumble main event, we're talking about the whole thing. And you know what I gotta say, this dark match, we gotta applaud this. Applaud this dark match. Because before the show even got started, Yoshi Tatsu defeated Heath Slater. I'm telling you what, that's the match. That's a match I want to see. And for anyone that knows up-and-coming wrestler Dylan Messerschmidt, you'll know that he loves Yoshi Tatsu more than anything. So if you follow him, his wrestling gimmick is the Warlock, and you'll find him in the northeast zone of the United States. You can, if you ever see him at a show, say, hey, I hear you love Yoshi Tatsu, and he'll be very happy to hear that you said that. First match, Daniel Bryan, a Big Show, Mark Henry, happened in a steel cage. This was right when Daniel Bryan was real hot, heelish, he was really doing good stuff, but this match only got like 9 minutes, and I get it. It's Royal Rumble time, so you got to dedicate an hour of the show to that, but 9 minutes for a triple threat steel cage match, it probably didn't need more than that, but the storytelling in that match didn't get through a lot, so, but in hindsight, you're looking back going, holy hell, just 6 years ago, Daniel Bryan versus Big Show versus Mark Henry in a steel cage match. That's almost too random to comprehend. But it was certainly better than the next match, which Bella Twins, Beth Phoenix, Natalya, you got Alicia Fox, Eve Torres, Kelly, bullshit. No one needs to see that, and no one should want to see that. Sorry, my apologies. That was before the Women's Revolution, and thank God for the Women's Revolution, so that I don't have to see Eve Torres pretending to know what the hell she's doing in a wrestling ring. That match will give you PTSD. Kane versus John Cena was up next, and I don't know if you guys remember that ridiculous feud. Rise Above the Hate. Rise Above the Hate, as Kane wore that weird ass when he brought back the mask, which was kind of cool. But then they got Zack Ryder involved, and why? And then John Cena's making out with Eve, and Ryder's getting jealous, but then you bring Kane into it. What a mess! What a horrible storyline. We don't even have to get into that. And that match didn't even end with anything. Kane went out and he pile drives Zack Ryder in the middle of the ring. Like, the match ended with double DQ or whatever the hell it was. And then, they wanted to keep that storyline going. They needed something for Cena to do until Rock was ready. I get that. But god damn it. If you gave me a list of 100 things for John Cena to do, I could think of 100 things that are better than make him feud with Kane, throw in Zack Ryder in there, and then also John Cena might be having sex with Zack Ryder's wannabe girlfriend. Think! Brodus Clay. Brodus Clay was doing his thing, the Funkasaurus, or whatever the hell his name was. He defeated Drew McIntyre in 1 minute. In 1 minute. 1 minute that match got. At that point, don't even send him out. CM Punk, Dolph Ziggler, that was your sort of main event other than the Royal Rumble. And you know what? On paper, you might say, well, okay, yeah, Punk, Ziggler, that's not bad, and it wasn't a bad match. Okay, that's not bad. But see, here's my problem. Here's my problem with this. The Summer of Punk went from Punk fighting Vince McMahon and John Cena and some real heat and big players. Vince McMahon, John Cena, CM Punk, perfect. He didn't have to stray away from that. But that old saying, every day we stray further from God's light. Every day in 2011, after that pipe bomb promo, after Money in the Bank, WWE strayed further and further away from anything that made sense and anything that was good wrestling. They peaked so quick and then they flew off because the special guest referee in this match, or special guest enforcer, I guess I should say, was John Laurinaitis. Now, at the time when they were getting John Laurinaitis involved, I said, this is a horrible idea. This is a stupid idea. This guy's got the charisma of a freaking houseplant. He's horrible. He sounds awful. You don't even want to listen to him talk, this asshole. This Ken doll looking asshole. And they let's not keep Vince involved. First, let's bring in God, Triple H, so that CM Punk can lose to him 3 months before this pay-per-view at Night of Champions with interference from Miz and R-Truth. That makes a ton of sense after the month before he lost to Alberto Del Rio on the cash-in. So beautiful. Way to kill any of his momentum. God. And then after that, you say, oh, well, maybe we'll get Kevin Nash involved. Yeah, let's get Kevin Nash involved because everyone wants to see Kevin Nash involved in a storyline in 2011. Yeah, that was brilliant booking. And then after that, they said, okay, well, let's bring in Captain People Power, John Laurinaitis, so Punk can kind of mess around with him. So Punk won the title back a month before this pay-per-view in December. He won the title, and that was in the, I think it was Triple Threat TLC match. Okay, that was actually a really good match. Perfect. But then again, you're just keeping him embridled with this feud with John Laurinaitis, and it ends up being, well, we'll talk about the surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble, but anyways, that's my rant on how they absolutely butchered CM Punk. So it's like you look back and you go, oh yeah, Punk and Ziggler, that was cool. But god damn it, man. Could have been so much better. But no, let's put John Laurinaitis. Royal Rumble match time. This Royal Rumble match pissed me off to an extraordinary degree. And I'm going to have a drink of beer because it really did. We were only a year removed from the 40-man Royal Rumble, which Alberto Del Rio won before he was ready. And so everyone was disappointed when Alberto Del Rio won that match. Everyone and their stepchild and their stepson and their grandfather and their grandma and their creepy old uncle was very disappointed. They said, oh, this sucks. So this year, the logical thinking was, okay, WWE is going to go okay. That was brutal. Actually, the last few Rumble winners haven't been that great. Maybe we'll do the fans a service. Maybe the winner of this Rumble will be decent. Maybe people will be like, oh, that's a cool thing. But WWE loves to troll their audience, and they like to make us miserable, and they like to make us hate them. So for this Rumble match, you have guys like Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, Road Dogg. There was a couple other weird legends. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You had those guys enter the match. So, one, any match that has Michael Cole involved, and I don't even care if there's 30 superstars in it, any match that has Michael Cole involved in it is hot garbage. So instantly, as soon as you realized what they were doing was, oh, they're going to put all three announcers of the match in the Royal Rumble. Dumb. So that was disappointing. That was frustrating. That was stupid. But we were like, okay, let's just get through this. They're adding in these, and Jim Duggan, like, okay, Hacksaw, like, the most overrated legend of all time. That guy, what did he ever do other than go, oh? And anyways, I'm done. I'm not going to beat up on a legend. The guy took a picture with me, but anyways. You think that this match is going to lead to something better. And what do you know who comes out at number 29 after they brawl for a while? Miz looks fantastic in this match. Karma, who is, what was her name? Awesome Kong in TNA. She was in the match. It was interesting. Okay, so there was a couple bright spots. Miz looked great. And then at 29, you got Chris Jericho returning. Chris Jericho returns. Big pop, big ovation. And it's looking like, okay, it's looking good. Because you got Chris Jericho in there at the end. There was Big Show in there, so you knew Big Show wasn't going to win. Sheamus was there. Triple H, God's buddy, he was there, but you thought, okay, well, I don't think they're going to give it to Sheamus. I don't think they're going to give it to Big Show. Randy Orton came in late. They could always do that, but no. Maybe they actually will give it to Chris Jericho. He's returning. This would make sense. He can choose a match with Punk. Bing, bang, boom, rim-a-dam-dam. This is going to be fantastic. And it'll be cool that Chris Jericho wins it. And maybe they were thinking, well, maybe a veteran doesn't need to win it. And maybe that's right. But maybe, and this is just a maybe, but maybe the smart idea would have been not to give it to Sheamus, who everyone is always tired of, minus this little stint with the bar with Cesaro, because he's in a tag team and you can handle him in little doses. But when Sheamus, God's buddy, God's best friend, is shoved down your throat every day for 3 years, you get a little tired of him. Especially back, this is 6 years ago. He's not as good as he was now, or as he is now. He wasn't nearly as good. He was even more pale. He had even more red hair. He was just a big lumbering oaf. And he was awful. And he was awful in 2009. And he was awful when he feuded with John Cena. And he was awful in that tables match. And that was fine. We put up with it for years. And it finally looked like, okay, maybe they're just going to pull back on Sheamus. They've tried so hard. No, let's give him a Rumble. Let's give him a Rumble win. After we gave Del Rio a Rumble win, let's give this asshole a Rumble win. So that's very unfortunate, very stupid, and it sort of ruined the Rumble for me, because you don't tease Chris Jericho returning and thinking, yeah, and you know what? Jericho Punk at WrestleMania 28, I watched it last night actually, wasn't a bad match. It was actually a good match, a good, decent little feud too. They did pretty good for what they worked with. They did pretty damn good, okay? He's going to change the world. But you can't help but wonder the momentum that could have been had, the extra little bit of fire that could have been had if Jericho had just won that Royal Rumble. But instead, Sheamus won. He went on to WrestleMania, beat Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds, which in hindsight, I guess, was a pretty memorable moment and actually did probably more good for Bryan than Bryan would have won anyways. I don't like Sheamus, and I don't like God, Triple H. Yeah, quote that. Brett Lickey doesn't like God. Well, whatever, I don't really care. And I was, watching this Rumble once again, you're kind of just forced to relive how much you hated that time period. It's weird. It was such a good period. July, June, 2011, it was good times. And then Sheamus, and then John Laurinaitis, and then Triple H, and then Kevin Nash. I didn't want this to make me depressed, but it sure as hell did. So if you don't want to be depressed, don't watch Royal Rumble 2012. In fact, I don't really think there's anything you need to watch out of this pay-per-view. I don't think there's anything that you need to go back and watch. Truthfully, that's kind of sad for a pay-per-view. At least there's usually one thing that you could say, okay, well, if you see it on your on-demand, throw it on and, like, maybe Punk and Ziggler, just to see that you said it, see it again and see how they're kind of interacting. Watching Daniel Bryan's interactions back at that time before he really broke open, that's not bad, but there's nothing here. Unless, of course, you're looking for a reason to, I don't know, throw yourself off a fifth-floor balcony, at which point turn on the Bella Twins, Beth Phoenix, Natalya, Alicia Fox, Eve Torres, Kelly Kelly, Tamina Snuka. Throw that on. Okay, it's only 5 minutes, but 2 minutes is all you'll... No, 1 minute is all you'll need to be like, and slam a chair through your balcony door and run, just jump right out. So anyways, out of 5 bags of popcorn, this one gets... I'm going to give it 2. I'm not fond of this pay-per-view. There's nothing about it that I really thought was great. And yeah, so 2 bags of popcorn, and I'm gonna throw in a blindfold because there's many points in this where you just want to. And when Michael Cole enters that Royal Rumble match, just throw on that blindfold and just get a lobotomy so you don't have to deal with it. I'm Brett Litke, and that was Royal Rumble 2012.